Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here back with another part of What If Naruto Was Raised by the Sannin. And before continuing this, I have an announcement. One of our subscriber Unseen Uchiha has requested our help to support his channel in which he's going to upload anime content in the future. So yeah, support him as well. And guys, if you haven't, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And comment down below if you want me to upload a movie tomorrow or the next part of What If Naruto Was Turned into a Girl. I'm going to be pulling up a poll as well. You can vote there as well. And without further ado, let's continue our story. Chapter 11 Flashback. Naruto and Anko were at a nearby fishing village, having slipped away from their family who were busy setting up Otogakure and running. The two children had managed to slip away from their guards. The simple reason was they were tired of being watched. Ever since the episode with Kabuto's family, they had been heavily watched since then. "Are you sure we're fine here?" Anko asked. She was still rather subdued and quieter since that day. She did listen to her little brother a lot though, which many found strange. Yet the two would always back the other around anyone. "Yeah, it's not like we're going to Suna. We're just down the valley and near the river," Naruto said. He was wearing an outfit that was similar to Jiraiya's, except it was blue and he didn't have the horn forehead protector. Anko shook her head. "We get grounded? It's your fault then." Yeah, come on. I want to see the ships that are using the river to get to the ocean." The river was deep, enough that many ships traversed it to cut off the time it took to reach the ocean. "I thought we were coming for that festival, Anko asked. "That later, but there should be stalls up with free food, right?" Naruto said. "And how do you know all about this?" Anko asked her little brother. "A classmate mentioned it. He was coming down tonight with his dad," Naruto said. "And this name's friend?" Anko asked, and she learned right away that if Naruto didn't give a name, then it was either second-hand information or it was someone he knew he wasn't supposed to be around. Thought you know him," Naruto said, "and that jinx it. It's someone Kachan forbade him from hanging around," Anko thought. "And you trust this friend of yours?" Anko asked. "Yeah, pretty much," Naruto said as they entered the village. "Alright, does mom trust this friend?" Anko asked and saw the body wince. I guess," Naruto said. "You know bro, you suck at lying," Anko said, getting him to stop and face her. "So what? I'm sick of being stuck in one place. You remember when we were younger? We never stayed in one place this long. You know why we setting up things here, Naruto." "So what?" Naruto said. "I'm not scared of some masked idiot who thinks I'm the fucking fox." He turned and stopped away. Anko sighed and chased after him. It took her nearly 10 minutes to catch up to him, and when she did, she froze. There, standing next to her brother, was a figure they hoped they never saw again. "Not us," she whispered and pulled a kunai and leapt at the masked figure. He didn't turn, but his hand caught her by the front of her shirt. Now, little serpent, I am not here for this." Naruto looked at Naruto's face. "You've grown, Naruto." "Happens with time," Naruto fired back. His gaze went to the two ninjas with him. "Ah, my god, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Usually the most bitter of enemies, but under my command they are the most dedicated of soldiers I have." "Good for you then," Naruto said. Naruto smirked. "They aren't of this world, but in time they will be. They will be reborn, and they will do all I command." Naruto looked at the man who attacked him and his family all those years ago. "I'm not going with you," the blonde stated. Naruto laughed. "You're not?" The man agreed, and it surprised the two youths. "I am simply passing through at this time. You are safe from me at this time, Naruto." The man walked away. He said something to the two ninjas, and Naruto and Anko watched as they attacked the man. Sub-Zero turned the man into an ice sculpture with a simple touch, and Scorpion, with a strange spear that shot from his head, shattered the man. "Flawless," Naruto said, and continued to lead the two ninjas away. They boarded a strange boat with red sails and dragon motifs. "I think we better go home now," Naruto muttered. End of the flashback. Naruto saw that it was them, younger than they'd been the last time, but the same white dead eyes. Naruto found his attention drawn to the genin from Konoha. Hearing "Sasuke-kun," he watched a blonde leap onto Uchiha, while the Uchiha's pink-haired teammate yelled at her to get off. He noticed that the Uchiha looked a bit bruised. "Idiot, doesn't learn." He keeps it up, he's going to get himself and his team killed. Naruto thought as he slipped back with Kin and Kara. Kin leaned in. I told the others. Kabuto's going to see if he can throw out some of the other cannon from Konoha. Naruto shook his head. He didn't see, but his sister saw in the medic nin. Naruto had been amazed with the amount of information in his nin cards. Kabuto said it had taken him a long time to learn how to use them properly. If we can, we need to tell Uncle Nechan that Nata freaks are here. Not sure who the one in the skull mask is, but Scorpion and Sub-Zero are killers. They kill in cold blood. Kin put a hand on his forearm. The Uchiha is staring at you as well. Sasuke strode up to him. Fight me, he demanded. No. Naruto said and looked at Kin. So, Wagner's ride of the Valkyries. Do you think it's possible to pull off without strings? Don't ignore him. Go away, duckass, Naruto said. We're not from Konoha. We'll smack you down for your attitude. Sasuke went to strike Naruto, but the blonde was faster than him and sent him crashing into the blackboard at the front of the room, silencing all chatter. Try that again, Uchiha, and I will do more than break a rib on you, Naruto said, lowering his leg and looking at Kin. So, the bridge on the second stanza. You can't do that to Sasuke-kun! The pink-haired banshee screamed and came at Naruto, but her other teammate stopped her and said something to her. Sakura, don't. You wouldn't stand a chance. Was as far as the nameless cannon fodder got before a Sakura punch sent him craning into a wall, not far from her precious Sasuke-kun. Sakura turned back to look at Naruto, but found her way blocked by several females. Temari, Haku, and Kin were in her way, each glaring at her. What do you want? Sakura demanded. Temari spoke for the trio. You think we'll let you harm Naruto-kun because of some blind obsession you have for that emo ass there? Think again, Pinky. Naruto might not hit a girl, but if you try and treat him like you just treated your teammate, then we get issues. And trust me when I say I will beat the living shit out of you, and that will be before Haku and Kin get to you. Sakura blinked and recognized the blonde from the other day. But he attacked Sasuke-kun, the pink-haired, single-minded organism known as Fangirl Point. Kin growled. Your stupid boyfriend tried to attack Naruto-kun. I don't know how things work here in Konoha, and I don't give a flying fuck about this. I know an Otto that shit outside of training or battle isn't allowed, and he'd have been at best suspended from duty and done some time in cell if he does this. Haku spoke. Attacking the hair of the Otokage, however, Tamari's smirk could lead to a death sentence if Orochimaru-sama is in a good mood. Kin snorted. That's if Lady Tsunade or Jiraiya-sama didn't get to the offender party first. Sakura blinked. Here? Kin laughed. Yes, he is the child of the former sannin of Konoha and the heir of our Shodai Otokage. But that doesn't matter in Oto, little girl. You see, in Oto, we are all treated equally. Naruto-kun, despite being the child of the leaders, is treated the same as anyone else, and he asked for it that way. Tamari snorted. The amount of times he gotten in trouble with Anko Sensei is in the triple digits, easily. Sakura was now looking at Haku as if trying to place her Haku. Haku meanwhile recognized the pink-haired girl from the deserters in Wave, but said nothing. There was a loud explosion at the front of the room, and smoke blowed around. Shut the fuck up, you punks! A rough voice bellowed. When the smoke cleared, they saw a tall, scar-faced man, sporting a Konoha Hitate and a black trench coat. Behind him, on either side, was a squad of Chunin dressed up in Proctor uniform, including the two that Sasuke had unveiled earlier in his arrogance. The man, who appeared to be a special Jonin of some kind, continued in a smoother tone of voice. I am examiner of the first test in the Chunin exams. Hibiki Morino. Link break. Naruto looked at the test. What the hell? Kasam were right. They really don't change their tests, do they? Slowly over the next hour, Naruto wrote the answers in shorthand that Shizune and his mother taught him. Screw them, I am not giving away answers so others can cheat, he thought after flipping his paper over when he saw several of the Konohanin using skills or bloodlines to cheat. His eyes saw that the girl next to him, another Konohanin, had indigo hair and a pair of lavender eyes. He saw her looking at him out of the corner of his eye and smiled. Not another one. Uncle's going to go spar, he thought. Naruto knew he was pretty good looking. His mother and aunt informed him of this, not to mention the birds and the bees talk shudder. with charts. Ugh. Naruto knew they had given him the talk about sex because his Kazan didn't trust Europops to do it, and Uncle Orochi turned the weirdest shade of red when he'd been asked to do it and said, "Ask your mother," and rushed off. Naruto saw the girl boss looking at him still and winked at her, which got a deep blush from her. Yup, Uncle Nechar is going to go spar. Link break. Haku, Rin, and Temari were scattered around the back and of the room, and all three scowled, seeing the female Konoha candy eyeing their Naruto-kun. The bitch better step off. Were three of the same thoughts the three possessed. They all pictured various means of chasing the girl off. It was Aku who thought of the easiest way. I'll just let Uncle Sensei know there is a Konoha rat sniffing around her little brother. With that in mind, Haku created a nice mirror in the palm of her hand and slipped a note through it before going back to work on the test Lady Tsunade had informed them about before coming to Konoha. Link break. Sasuke was fuming. That Ototope has power. I want power. I need to kill him. I need it. He was pissed. He couldn't seem to copy the blonde Otonin's moves. Even worse, he seemed to be washed out when he looked at him with his Sharingan. Sadly, Sasuke was unaware of the seal Jiraiya put on all the Otonin to counter this years ago, as a way to keep Oto's secret. I will learn your secret, Stop. No one denies the Uchiha. Link break. Under his skull mask, Nada smirked. Sub-Zero and Scorpion were reborn, serving their ties with their old world. He smiled, seeing Naruto here, but he wasn't the objective. His eyes searched out and found the target of the mission. Sasuke Uchiha, you are wanted by my master. He looked at the test the proctor had handed out and finished it with a simple wave of his hand. The answer filled in and he turned it over, his eyes once more looking at the blonde. I may not be allowed to capture you for now, Naruto, but one day your power will belong to my master and I will be rewarded. Link break. During this, however, there were many eliminations as people were caught cheating. Ibiki, however, remained silent. His eyes were on the blonde in the second row next to the Yuga heiress. Sarutobi said to keep a watch on him and prevent anyone from attacking him. Ibiki was surprised to see him finish the test in the first 15 minutes. He also watched as the boy teased and flirted with the Yuga heiress, getting her to turn redder than a tomato. What is the Hokage planning for you? He called out the 10 minutes warning as several more teams were eliminated. Too many of them remained. Hopefully I can thin them out with the torture of the last question. Ibiki laughed, chilling many of the students and getting a few to quit, and one even wet himself. Life is good. Chapter 12. Tsunade glared at Kakashi as they sat in the waiting room. Jiraiya and Anko were finding it hard to hold their backs, as well as hold Tsunade back. Stay away from my son, Hatake. I won't warn you again. The blonde Sannin snarled. I just wish to speak with him, the Konoha Jonin said calmly. The other Konoha Jonin were looking on, many surprised that the famed copy ninja was without his usual orange book. I don't think so, Tsunade hissed. I remember the Hokage telling me of your actions all those years ago, Hatake. His father asked you to raise and protect him, but hours after he saved this village and died, you tried and killed his son. You tried to kill him before the Hokage and your former teammate. You had your chance, Kakashi Hatake. I won't allow you another. As entertaining as this is, does anyone know about the first exam? Grass Jonin asked. It was Asuma Sarutobi who, after lighting his cigarette while ignoring the glares from other answer, they'll be lucky if they pass. Why is that? Korona a Jonin from Konoha asked. Kakashi turned his gaze towards her from looking away from Tsunade. You still rather new as a Jonin, so I'm not surprised you don't know. Know what? Kornai asked. It was Asuma who spoke again, exhaling a cloud of smoke. The head proctor for the first exam is the head of Konoha's interrogation unit, Ibiki Morino. Several Jonin winced hearing that name. Many looked at the Oto contingent and they all smiled. Anko jumped as something cold touched her hand. She saw a palm-sized ice mirror appear and a note slip into her hand. A second note already? She thought. The first had been a warning from Haku about Naruto warning them about Scorpion and Sub-Zero being in the exam. After reading the new note, she scowled and looked at the Konoha Jonin. Which one of you is the sensei of a female Yuga? Link break. Naruto sighed out loud. He was bored. He saw particles of sand gathering on his desk, and soon they formed word. Do you need help? Shake head yes or no. Naruto shook his head no. Do you want to play a game? The sand roared. Naruto smiled and nodded his head yes. He watched as the sand became the familiar tic-tac-toe board. With a smile, he lazily traced an X on the top left square. The sand shifted and formed an O on the center of the square. Naruto made another X in the bottom left corner. An O formed in the left center square, blocking him. He put an X in the center right box, blocking a win from Gaara. An O formed on the upper right box. Naruto put another X at the bottom right corner. Damn, draw. Formed in the sand. Naruto smiled and shrugged. Another game. Before Naruto could reply, Ibiki spoke from the front of the room. Alright, you snorts. It's time for the 10th and the final question. Now, here are the rules. If you take this question and fail, then you will never rise above the rank of Kenin. What? Screams filled the room. Naruto saw a teen his age with a dog stand. You can't do that, the boy yelled out. Shut up. Ibiki snarled and flashed his killing intent. My test, my rules. You can leave now if you want and take the test again when some other pansies gives you this test. His dark gaze swept the room. Decide now if you're going to take the test or not. Several quit and their teammates were forced to leave with them. Naruto saw that the Uchiha's teammate looked terrified. Both looked ready to raise their hands and quit. Link break. Kornai looked disturbed after talking with Anko, who had pulled her aside after finding out she was Hinata's sensei. The amount of questions Kornai shuddered and disgusted with herself about the amount of information she given to Otto joining. So why are the three of you looking so assured? Asuma asked. Shira answered for the group. Ibiki might be a master of interrogation and intimidation, but our students have been through hell nearly all their lives. Some of them literally. Anko snorted, retaking her seat. Tsunade's team won't even twitch. Hell, I beat Gaara and Naruto to it as well. Are either sleeping or playing a game. Like yours will be any worse, Tsunade said. Anko gave a shrug. As long as Nissan stands tall, Haku and Temari will drag Ryu over a river of fire to impress my little brother, even if that means literally killing Ryu in the process. Chira nodded. The poor boy got stuck with two girls that want Naruto to show their best. He clapped his hands together and smiled. But then again, my own student team has something to prove, and they know if they quit before the other two teams, they'd never hear the end of it. Who are Naruto's teammates? I think I recognize the red head from somewhere, Kakashi asked. Kin is one of Naruto's classmates. She graduated with him and Ryu, as their teachers called him. They never say Dai Trio. Tsunade said. Gaara is the son of the Kazekage of Suna, but for political and personal reasons, he and his siblings were traded to Oto and are now a part of our village, Shira said, a smirk on his face. The Oto Jonin weren't going to mention Ryu's, Kabuto's, or Haku's past, since all three were connected with Konoha in some way, none of them good. Kakashi looked at the clock on the wall. Looks like we'll know soon. The first exam should be nearly done. Link break. So, Blondie, Ibiki said, standing right in front of Naruto. You gonna go crawl back to Otto? Naruto yawned loudly. You say something, Scarface? I was about to take a nap while you weeded out that wheat from the chaff. Ibiki smirked. I asked if you were ready to quit. Or are you willing to bet your ninja career and stay again for your life if you fail? Naruto snorted as another team walked out. Bring it on. My sister is scarier than you. Or this test. When it's her time of the month. Besides, I'd like to see you enforce that Genin thing outside of the village. Ibiki scowled and as several victims, i.e. Genin that looked ready to quit, didn't. Damn, Brad. It took him minutes to disrupt an hour's work, Ibiki thought. And besides, even if that was possible, and I do get stuck as a Genin for the rest of my life, it doesn't matter. And why is that? Ibiki asked, curious to see what the blonde would have to say. That just means I'll be the world's strongest Genin that will be able to kick Akage's ass. So bring on your 10th question, because Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze won't back down no matter what. That's my ninja way. Never say die. Testify. Ryu and Kin yelled from their seats as the Oto group chuckled a bit. Naruto looked at Ibiki. Give me your best. I'll take it. Chew it up and spit it out. The change. Crap. He's dispelled the fear effect. Anyone else wants to save their ninja careers and quit now? Last chance. Ibiki looked around and sighed mentally while keeping his face blank. 42 remain. 14 teams. He tailed it up. No one? he asked when no one moved. Well then, you all pass, he said and smirked at the looks of disbelief and gasps of surprise and yells. What about the 10th question? And the sighs of relief filled the room. The Chunin around the room smiled. Biggie pulled off his bandana and the room fell quiet as he began to speak. Link break. Anko twirled the pair of kunais by their rings as she looked at Kakashi. So, Manai, if Ibiki is the first exam, Proctor, who's got the next phase? The gathered Jonin sensei looked at Kakashi, the copy ninja side. Sadly, it's not a ninja. The Hokage felt that the second test would be more difficult and didn't want any show of favoritism, so he contracted an outside source. Well, spit it out. Who's in charge of the second exam? Anko demanded. Kakashi sighed. He got many names, but the one he's given us, and this time is Liu Yuan. Shreya dropped his saucers. His eyes widened. Did you say Liu Yuan? Yes. Why? Kakashi asked, and many of the room looked at the Sannin as he paled. Shreya looked at Tsunade, who looked at him in concern. Liu Yuan is the given name of Master Pure Yang, and also as Lu the Progenigator by some Taoist. He dresses as a scholar and wears a sword strapped to his back that will dispel evil spirits. What does that? Why does that name sounds familiar? Tsunade said. Lu Yuan is Lu Tong Pin, one of the 8 immortals / deities, revered by Taoists. Kakashi's eyes widened. What one of the 8 is doing here is a cause for concern. Anko muttered something and both Sani looked at her. What? She sighed. Before the exam started, I got a message from Haku. Naruto's freaks are here as well. Sub-Zero and Scorpion with an unknown third. The de-aged and sitting in one of the exams. Who's not us? Kakashi asked, seeing the two Sani looked worried. A threat, Shreya muttered. Think we can grab the kids and hit the border before they realize it? Tsunade asked, concerned for her adopted son's safety, overriding all. No, Naruto won't run, Anko said, and the others will close rank around him. Shreya nodded. The second stage of the Chunin exams just became more dangerous than it should be. Link break. The remaining teams looked at the scholar, who was drunk and standing at the front of the door, looking at them with complete boredom. You couldn't have lost a few more, Ibiki-san? Lu Yan asked. Feel the room. The drunk looked at the group with bleary eyes. Bah. They'll be cut down to half or more by the time they reach the end of the exam. The man let out a black and sighed. Alright, report to pulled out a scrap of paper and tried to focus his eyes on it. Worst of that, the nice tune in here will escort you. And where will you be? A brave Genin asked. You held up his ground. Reveal. With that, he vanished in a burst of water, and the Chunin got up and started to herd the kids out. Hibiki sighed before collecting the test. He got to the one where the blonde was sitting and read the note. Damn brat, I just might try to hire him someday. Hibiki went to inform the Hokage of the dangers in the group of Genin and wondered how things got so out of control. He blamed Danzo and his people for creating the weakness in Konoha, but the bastard still hasn't found. Chapter 13, The Forest of Death. As it is called, Liu Yuan said, after taking a swig from his booze ground. Naruto kept a partial ear on the directions and the creeping from many of the other Genins, including the Konoha ones. Weak. Didn't this sensei warn them in advance? Glad Kasa, Aeropops, and Uncle told us what to expect. Actually glad I'm not part of Konoha. They sound like, as Toyuya-chan said, a bunch of fucking wieners. Naruto thought about one of his uncle's personal guard. He could sense Kimimaro nearby and knew the man was watching over him. He shared a look with Kin and Gaara. Kin used her eyes and followed the look to where the Uchiha was standing, surrounded by his fangirls and fellow Konoha nin. The haughty look on the idiot's face made him realize that the mission wouldn't be easy with how slippery they all stood. No discipline. Hell, even with goofing off, shaking his head, he snorted. Gaara nodded while Kin sighed. The forms forging his and Gaara's name like she'd done before. The three entered the tent and took the scroll, Liu Yuan eyeing them. Now be careful in there, the Dragon Master said with a happy grin. We will. Naruto pulled a flask out and tossed it to the man. Some of Rice's finest. The man caught it, his eyes focusing on the beverage container. Then looked at Naruto. There was a clarity there. We'll share a drink sometime, Naruto nodded. But of course. He looked around and smiled. Later, Sensei. he whispered and followed Kara and Kin towards their gate. You smiled as the blonde left. You've grown a lot over the years. Naruto, be safe. Next team came in and the drunk sloppily handed them a scroll and accepted the consent forms. Link break. You are looking well, Naruto. The blonde frowned as Sub-Zero and Scorpion stood on either side of their third figure. Not us. Stay out of our way during the exam, Naruto. I am not here for you this time. The skull-masked Nada said, Who are you? After then. The Uchiha, he said. You're observant, Naruto. How is QB? Sleeping and nearly absorbed, Naruto said. For arrow pops, just did the seal, so you're nearly out of luck. Nada's eyes behind the mask narrowed. You six, no fighting. Before the Chunin exams. A Chunin called out. Good luck, Naruto, Nada said, leading the team away. Naruto narrowed his eyes at him. Eat shit and die soon, you bastard. Kara chuckled at this while Kin pouted. You've really been around Tayuya too much, Naruto-kun, she said. Kara looked at her and for some reason the comment bubbled up. And you wish it was you he was close to. The flute scolded at Kara. What do you know, sandboy? Kara couldn't help it. He blamed it on the fact that he was able to sleep and his best friend Naruto was rubbing off on him. I know you, and nearly every girl our age wants to have Naruto bed them and make them his, my sister included. Naruto got a look on his face when he heard that. She slipped into my window? I had nothing to do with that, Kara. That is the only reason you lived, the redhead said. Dad and your sister had a long talk with me after I buried you under a sandhill. Naruto patted his friend's shoulder. He and Tamari were the only ones allowed to touch him without his sand flaring up. Sorry about that. Uncle Nechan gets overprotective. Kin snorted as she recalled her own discussion with the snake Johnny, and shuddered. It was taking her and Haku to fight her off, and Kin wasn't liking the idea of having to share with anyone. Here's our gate, Kara said. They looked at their watches and saw they had a good 40 minutes left before the exam would start, and the other team reached their gates. Wonder where the others are going to be starting from. Naruto sat down. Kara smiled. Got a map? The three shared a smile. Link break. Naruto beside as he got the reports. Outside forces are here. If what Tsunade and the others have said, this Nata is a very dangerous man. What more is that Cloud Rain and Grass are showing signs of attacking as well. He puffed on his pipe and cursed the day that the sannin had abandoned Konoha. Their breaking ties with Konoha weakened us greatly. Oto has flourished over the years. They have acquired many strong ninjas, and the young ones are evenly stronger. They acquired the children of the Kazekage, one of whom held another demon. Naruto beside as he recalled the council demanding that they grab the QB brat and make him a personal weapon of Konoha. Naruto snorted. The person to do that will have to deal with Tsunade. And that's if they survive Shura and Orochimaru. And from what my former pupil told me, the Sound Village loves Naruto and would go to war for them. Naruto recalled the earlier meeting with Orochimaru, who told him how Naruto would find strays and bring them to the village, how he would help them open up and heal their hearts and souls. Flashback. The ones you'll really need to look out for is Kimimaro. Tsunade and Naruto saved his body, but it was Naruto who healed his heart and soul. Orochimaru sat sipping his tea. What do you mean, Orochi? Kimimaro had a rare disease. His clan had been betrayed and he's all that left. He was prepared to die. He took an assassination mission to come to Oto and kill me. Orochimaru smiled as he looked at Kidomaru and Jirobo. He ran into Naruto and his disease kicked in hard. He coughed up a lot of blood and passed out. Naruto listened as Orochimaru told him about the surgery and the remaining of removing of toxins from the man's body. Or Naruto spent days with the recovering man just talking with him. When he healed, he'd come to Orochimaru to kill him. Naruto had been there. I won't say what happened between them. It was special, but from that day, Kimimaro swore his life, his blood, and his future clan to Naruto and Tsuhime. Orochimaru looked over his teacup, and let me just say, if your council tries anything, Kimimaro will lay face to Konoha. Us too? Jirobo said from the door with arms crossed. Orochimaru smiled. Yes, all of Otoha loves that boy. He looked at Sarutobi. Konoha made their intentions clear all those years ago, Sarutobi-sensei. He is our child, and to take him would be all-out war. We have allies. Some are yours, but push comes to shove. Orochimaru gave a gallic shrug. End of the flashback. Saratobi looked at the monument. Minato, you may have saved this village, but we damned your child, and it will come back and bite us in the ass. And this time, I don't think we deserve saving. Link break. Naruto was learning. Naruto was leaning against the tree while Kin was laying with her head in his lap. He was playing with her regular flute, and she hummed along with him. You really are talented, Naruto-kun, Kin said as he paused. Thanks, Kin-chan. He said both looked to see a figure approaching. Uchiha, Gaara said. He had his eyes closed and was using his sand to watch the other teams with his floating eyes. Otto dope, Sasuke said. So, Kin, do you and Haku-chan think you can handle Anko? Naruto asked, ignoring the dark-haired Konoha teen. Kin's eyes widened as she looked up at Naruto, who smirked at her, then winked. Oh, she thought as her heart sped up as he leaned down and gave her a peck on the forehead. Don't ignore me, Sasuke yelled. He moved to attack, but a Chunin appeared. Move along, Uchiha. Report to your gate. Your team is waiting for you. Sasuke seated. This is not over. You say something, duckass, Naruto said as he adjusted the flute and played a little ditty that seemed to match the storms as Sasuke stormed away. Flirt later, Gaara said as he stood. He rolled up the map and stood. It's nearly time. Kin scowled as she sat up. Naruto stood with the ease of a cat. Or really, a hot fox. Kin thought, looking him over, she jumped when he pulled her to her feet. Daydream later, Kin-chan. I'm sure I can fulfill whatever you're dreaming of. Gaara sighed as the girl was blown back with a fountain of nosebleed. Just had to push her buttons now. Naruto shrugged. What can I say? Airbobs told me to have fun during the exams. You do know they are going to claim you one of these days. You can't keep the clueless faked up forever. Gaara said, I've heard Tamari planned to tie you down and, in her words, make a man out of you all night long. Naruto paused from helping Kin and looked at his friend. And you going to kill me? Gaara paused and looked at him. No, I like you as a brother-in-law. Naruto watched his team gather the scroll up. He looked at Kin and wiped the blood from her upper lips and nose. Wake up, Kin-chan, he said softly. No, I want to dream more, Naruto-kun. The girl said, taking his hand and clapping her hands around it and holding it against her chest. Naruto swallowed several times and looked around, thanking Kami that Anko wasn't here, or his mom. Kami, they'd kill her and lecture me, he thought as he shook her again. Come on, Kin-chan, Anko will kill you otherwise. The girl was on her feet looking about wildly. Naruto smiled and put her spare flute in her hands. Come on, it's time, he said. She watched him walk away, her eyes going from the flute to the blonde, and then she recalled what he said, and she made a squeal sound just as the buzzer sound and the second task of the Chunin exam began, with the team leaping deep into the forest. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this part of, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing out. Peace.